How's everybody doing?
How are you?
Doing great, thank you.
What did you see in the run game last week that allowed you to be more successful than you had been in the first few weeks?
A combination of stuff like we've talked about before. I think it's 11 is 1, right? So I think it's QB making sure we're in the right situation. I think it's everybody being on the same page. I thought our runners did a good job of attacking their aiming points, and then what stood out the most probably is they broke a few tackles too. So I thought the yards after contact was as good as it's been too.
There's a lot of attacking of the edges, getting speed guys outside. And is that what you envisioned for the offense? Is that something you just saw against Cleveland, or I guess what brought that about?
Yeah, it's something that is a part of what we do, and every week we try to evaluate what we think gives us the best chance. And last week there was a couple opportunities that gave us gave us a good chance to capture the edge. And down near the 15, 20-yard line last week, we had some really cool ops too. And so again, all those guys did a really good job of executing. I thought, the very first one, Brock breaks a tackle early on and kind of set the tone, and the perimeter blocking was much improved as well, so it allowed us to continue to do it.
Obviously, big part of your game plan going into this year centered around Devontae Adams. With him being currently silent with injury, but also his larger status kind of up in the air. How does that kind of force you to adjust as offensive?
Yeah, I mean, every week you go into a game plan and you evaluate who you have first, and then you evaluate your opponent, right? And then you do your best to try to find, areas that you want to attack or areas you got to stay away from. And so whether that's Devontae or whether that's anybody else on our team, that's part of the process of doing what we do on a week-to-week basis. Because as you guys have seen, right, like the across the league, guys are they're out, and you got to deal with it. And it's next man up, and our guys have done a great job, and we'll continue to do all that stuff.
Go ahead.
To that, what have you seen out of Trey Tucker and DJ Turner that kind of allows you some creativity in the red zone, kind of what Adam was talking to, with the speed on the edge and the outside?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with their play style, right? They're relentless guys. They're team first guys. They play violent. They play fast, and then they're high football IQ guys too. So they allow us to move them around different positions and do a lot of different things with them. And so, two very valuable guys for us in what we do.
Jakobi Meyers, he's been a guy that he's been a wide receiver one before in his career. How much confidence do you guys have in him to be able to step up?
Yeah, no, we have a ton of confidence in Jakobi. Since the day we got here, he's been that type of guy. You talk about consistency and pros pro like that. That's written all over Jakobi. And then the talent wise has been same thing. We haven't viewed him any differently since the day we got here. We've been really excited to work with him, and he same way. I mean, same thing. He gives you a ton of flexibility to do a lot of different things with him, and so he's a lot of fun to work with.
Weeks 1 and 2, Brock kind of announced himself as a guy that needs to be accounted for by opposing defenses on every play. How have you seen him adapt and handle some of the different defensive looks that he's gotten through 4 weeks now?
Yeah, I think the best way to describe him is, I was just saying this to somebody else, like when he experiences something one time, and most of the time he still handles it really well, but if he didn't, the next time he nails it. So like he's just the pro mentality that he has, where I'm going to figure this thing out. He has that relentless mentality, but then goes to experience it one time, and then the very next time he dominates it. So that's really cool for such a young guy to be able to do that so quickly. And I think each and every week he gets more comfortable with what's going on. And he's still a rookie. He still has a couple things that each week that we're trying to get better at. But I think on an overall basis, I think he handles all that stuff, all the new stuff, really well.
You guys have had a couple of deep shots that have been close, but haven't been able to quite complete them. I think it was the third play of the game, that shot to DJ Turner. What's sort of missing on those plays that you guys could execute a little bit better and help them?
Yeah, I think it's just like what you said. I think the timing, the rhythm, and the decision making of both the route runner and the quarterback have been on point. And I think it's building that relationship we talked about last week in here. The relationship of a right guard to a right tackle and how important that chemistry is. No different in the pass game, as far as being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, and the quarterback putting it where you can go get it too. So that stuff's just going to continue to get better. I think I love the aggressiveness of everybody in the attack. Like everyone's buying in and believing, and we go on the practice field and we execute it, and we just keep continuing to do that, and then we'll reap the reward there on Sundays.
Antonio said earlier in the week that Alexander Madison had earned more opportunity, and now Zamir being banged up a little bit, I guess that becomes even more into focus. I guess what have you seen from him that he's ready for this kind of an opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, he's been at it for a minute, right? I mean, we're watching him in reps against this team last year. You know, Alex has been in it, being in that division with him the last couple of years. He's been there, done that. He's a pro's pro, and he's had that mentality the whole time. Whether he's the first guy to go in or not, he's been a focus of what we're trying to accomplish anyways. I don't know, he's probably playing maybe almost half the reps anyways already. So Alex is a big part of what we do, and he's done a great job handling all that stuff.
Luke, you've had 7 different receivers targeted in the passing game, 7 different rushers on Sunday against the Browns. Is that kind of what you have in mind for the offense, just kind of just spreading the ball around as much as you can?
I mean, anytime you can make them defend everybody, that's going to help you. You know, we talk about all the time, finding guys that can do a bunch of different things. And then if you have, the more of those guys you have, the more the defense has to be accountable for it. So I guess the short answer is yes. Anytime you can include everybody in this thing, it's really important to make the defense to defend every blade of grass. And that's what we're trying to do, whether it's with one guy doing a bunch of different things or a bunch of guys doing things that they do really well.
When you're talking about Jakobi, you said that he allows you some versatility to do a lot of different things. Is that something you saw even before you got here and working with him, that you thought he was that kind of a piece, or is that something you learned being around?
No, yeah, definitely from afar, I had that perception. Whether it was in New England or just last year here, he seems like that type of guy. And then when you get here, it like hits you in the face, like immediately. You get excited because you see the talent level obviously on film, but then when you get to meet the person and you can see how in depth he is and the details that he abides by, the approach that he takes every single day, all that stuff blows you away.
What have you seen on film that's made it so difficult for teams to pass against Denver?
I mean, what are they, second in the league in sacks or first league? I mean, the pass, it starts there, right? I mean, up front, they do a really nice job. They put a lot of pressure on you. They make you block a lot of one-on-ones, right? So they don't let you just sit there and slide to people, and so they put a lot of pressure on you and stress on you, and you gotta stand up to it. And they've done an excellent job, really for the last season and a half now. So they definitely pose a problem for us that we're excited to take on that challenge, though.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.